Welcome to Captive Conversations. I'm your host, Adam from Captive Wi-Fi. Join us as we dive into behind-the-scenes stories of hospitality leaders, exploring tech, operations, and marketing through the eyes of the experts. Let's get the inside scoop together. Hi everyone, this is episode 19. I am excited to have in the podcast studio / office / lunchroom Tommy from Honest Burgers. We've met a little while ago and hit it off, had a bit of a laugh, and I've convinced him to come on the podcast. He was like, I don't want to do it, and he's come on, and it's going to be a fun one, and it's going to be really interesting because it's a long time. It's a long time at Honest.
11 years almost.
Yeah, it's like over a decade.
Yes.
Right?
It's a quarter of my life.
Yeah, seriously. I was told, so someone told me previously, don't say years, say if it's more than decades. So for me, it's like at or to be fair, it's probably for you as well, 2 decades in hospitality for me.
Wow.
So hospitality tech, 2 decades.
That just hits when you say decades. But
yeah, but if someone says 20 years, it scares the bejesus out of me. Because anyway, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for inviting.
You can't see my tan because I'm pasty white still, but I have been away and I'm back. And
this is natural.
Yeah, thanks. Hold on. There we go. I'm still white.
Still win.
Great. Thanks so much. I've only been away for a bit. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. We start the conversation with 2 questions, and that was from David from 16, and Ilglue, and Buddy. He's got an awesome payroll tool, by the way. And his questions, because I've given you so much notice to answer the questions. Bearing in mind, I only landed last night, but
3 hours.
Yeah, but this is hospitality, right? You got to do. So the first question was, what role do you think data should play in the? Oh no, yeah, it was. What role do you think data should play in the day-to-day running in hospitality business, and what should be analysed on a day-to-day basis?
Oh. Great question. I love the second one even more.
Yeah.
I'll go a bit more briefly on the first one. So data has a central role in the day-to-day operations. I think not having the data to run your business, it's literally like driving blindfolded. You don't know where you're going. You don't know how fast you're going. You don't know how fast you're going or slow you're going compared to others. So there's generally data and KPIs you should be looking at on a daily basis. If I take Honest Burgers as an example, because people would be interested in that.
Yes, they would.
We look on a daily basis at like for sales, like for covers, like for sales and covers, but channels as well. Mm-hmm. So Uber Eats or Eating, takeaway, and click and collect. Labor spend is more something we tend to look at on a weekly basis. But if you have a tool that allows you to see how you're performing for the week so far, if you over or under target, it helps you to make changes and decisions through the week. Guest satisfaction, very important. Otherwise, you don't know if you're doing a good job or not. And tools like Feedback, which we're using, giving us instant feedback on how we're performing. And when it comes to driving sales and operations, average spend per head is a key feature for us because it drives drinks attachment, upsells, size attachment, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you can't run a business without data.
Data's everything. Yeah. Data's everything.
You don't know how you're performing. You can't wait for the end of month P&L to see whether you are in the red or not. So it's something that you have to look on a daily basis.
Do you find it weird that 5, maybe probably more now, 8 to 10 years ago, it was the end of the month, right? It was. We did so well this month. It's been amazing.
Not as a surprise.
And then we're closing 3 sides. But it's so strange how obviously there's more accessible data, but back in the day, you'd have the FD would just manage the figures, and now it's all different, right? For the tools you can have, the GMs can have access to partial stuff and ops, and so I think it's really interesting what's available now to what was available before. Okay, and question 2. I like this question. This is a good one.
I know it's a good one. So I had to write down a little bit of your answers. Otherwise, I know it's going to go in all directions.
Yeah, well, you can just have one answer, but I wouldn't allow it. So the question from David was tech stack or single supplier, and why?
The eternal question, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's no single answer.
No, there isn't.
That fits all.
Yeah.
So so tech stack or all in one.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the size of your business or size of your company or size even of your head office. It depends on your needs, your budget, and your long-term plans. There's pros and cons for both. And I actually took some time to go through it. If you want me to expand a little bit.
Actually, he's got it here. This is awesome.
I was busy on the train. So tech stack, which is the approach Honest Burgers has taken so far. The pros is that you get each platform to be specifically specialized in a very tailored and specific function.
Yeah.
You get more flexibility. So if you ask for something that it's not part of the product just yet, they will be more likely to say yes or to explore that because it's what they do. They just do one thing and they try to do it very, very well. Same when it comes to scalability. Over the years, your needs will change. And as you start to focus on something different as you grow, those platforms will be able to adapt with you. As of if you go with the all-in-one, it's a bit harder to convince them because they have to please a lot of people. Risk is reduced because you can change a partner that is not behaving very well.
And you
don't have
put them on the naughty step. Yeah,
and you don't have everything tied up on a single contract. And also, you tend to get more innovation from those platforms because they are hot on what they're doing, and they're not distracted by the other stuff that all-in-ones are trying to do. But there's obviously negatives of having a tech stack that's a bit more fragmented. So integrations can be an issue. Not all integrations are equals. That's why I often say to people I'm talking to. Yes, we're integrated. You're integrated. You have 3 fields that are integrated.
Yeah. What about everything else?
Exactly. What about everything else? No.
That must be very frustrating.
It is, but I'm also very lucky to have Paul Hunt that work with us. He's our head of tech, and he builds integrations, so he can enhance any shitty integrations that we need
filter to put in the raw data, and he can build it for you.
Exactly.
Wow.
So we don't have to wait for the partners to do themselves.
Yeah.
Complexity. So you have to manage multiple contracts. You have to manage multiple.
It's that round table, isn't it? Getting them all into one place.
If you manage to do so.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to manage multiple data sources as well, or keep them up to date. Costs can be higher as well because you have multiple contracts, multiple terms, multiple increase every year. Usually it's 3%, 3 to 5% depending. And the reporting can be more difficult because it's a lot of more fragmented data that you have to bring into one single reporting. So I think tech stack would be more suitable for potentially a company that's a bit more established, that have a better idea exactly of what they want, and has a bigger team that can actually look after it and take care of it. Someone like me.
Yeah.
All-in-one.
Cracking the whip.
All-in-one pros, it's simpler. Get everything under one roof.
Yeah.
Don't have to think too hard about it. It's one bill, one app, one platform to manage, one contract to manage. In terms of integrations, you don't have to integrate with anything because it's under one roof as well. It's usually more cost effective because you get a bundled price for having everything under one roof. And from a user experience, it's better and easier because you just go to one single point to do all your stuff instead of having. I think
it's interesting because some people we speak to will either be single to start with, just I want everything. I don't want to bolt on, and it sounds awesome.
I think that's how you start usually.
Yeah, but others who I speak to who are like, actually, I want tech stack from the beginning. I want the foundation to be right. So that on QSR, for example, like they want tech stack now to roll out. If it's just like one single site with not plans to roll out, then get it in, get a pod in that does everything. It's really interesting to speaking to different people because some are, this guy's got 30 sites and they're using one single blah blah blah. Must be amazing.
That's rare, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think usually you start with the all-in-one.
Yeah,
you're not too sure what you need, you're not sure what you want, and you don't really know the direction your business is gonna go anyway.
Yeah.
And then as you start using it, it usually builds some frustrations as your business is evolving and your needs are evolving and your direction is evolving. And then you get answered often or sometimes with a no, we can't do it because it has to please everyone and it's all in one. And this is where you slowly start to move on to more fragmented tech stacks. So it's more almost like an evolution.
It's interesting because we spoke to ages ago, Lawrence from Redcat LP, and they have a single,
which I haven't used, so I can't comment.
Yeah, of course. But it's interesting talking to him because his whole conversation is the fractured tech stack. There are a lot of people out there who don't have everything or want bits of bobs, and they can do it. But I think there is challenges on where you start and where you go. So it's interesting. I find it really interesting on the route where people take. I think some people, if they're a bit more technical, and understand the flows, or have come from another business. If you were to go from where you are now to a new business, you'd use what you know. So I think I guess that if it's a single founder like me setting up a burrito place, I would, if I didn't know what I know, I'd be going, as you said, all in one, get it going.
Yeah, because it's less risky to some extent.
Yeah,
and it takes time as a founder, as a business owner, to go on the market, to review the platform, to understand the needs, to understand your requirements, and to try to find. You don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
You have to run a business to run.
I think the interesting thing nowadays is specifically that now there are so many new more consultants, and people, or advice for people out there like who can help as well. So I think previously it was always very hard because you don't know where to start.
Oh, you just listen to your mates. Oh, what are you guys using? Oh,
yeah, I'll use that, and it's amazing. And then 3 weeks later, they've moved to something else, and then you're stuffed. So I think it's very interesting now. There is a lot more guides for all consultants. I mean, there's loads now. It's amazing. So there isn't. Back in the day, there was a couple. Now there's loads. Or there's people that just do data. Or there's people that just do whatever. So I think for businesses now, if they're starting, really have a good.
The help is out there.
Yeah. And it's not hard to find. Okay, so on to our standard questions. Best hospitality experience.
So I thought long and hard about that one, and I think I'm definitely going to divide opinions. My best hospitality experience was in Paris.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about local Parisian bistro. I'm talking about bistro or local small restaurants that have been there forever, that have been passed on from generations to generations, that has the owner serving you and just welcomes you, with open arms, regardless how busy he is, running around like a crazy person and just running the show almost. It's pretty much like he knows everyone. If you knew it, you're gonna make me feel welcome and things like that. But you have to go away from the busy touristy areas and you get the best possible service you can imagine. And they're all amazing, and they all have a great product, and they all own the business, and they work crazy hours, and it's all worth it. Yeah,
it's about the but I guess it's the experience, right?
Yeah,
because you leave there going, wow, he might have been running around to everyone, but it's the experience.
You still get the attention.
Yeah,
and I think you get a similar experience when you go to some local businesses in Italy, when you go to local businesses in Spain. Often something about Latin service.
I agree.
Yeah. Just come back from Tenerife.
I have, yes. I was about to say, one of the restaurants I went to, they've just moved to it was a venture group. Hi, Jodie. She's amazing. They've got a steak place called Char, and it's just moved from where it was to where it is now. And it's like been elevated by 1,000%. Like it's now one guy, no order pad, no writing anything down. I mean, literally, I was blown away. I've not had an experience on that for a long time. I've had some here, but I'd never been there before to this new location. As you said, it wasn't, and they're a group. They're like 25 restaurants, but this was just. I mean, I couldn't fault it. The guy the sommelier made me drink one I would never put with steak ever. And he's like, just trust me. And he was explaining it all, and I was in love. And the
thing, you just fall in love, isn't it? You just
literally, I literally was. And the head of reservations walks around, talks to everyone, chats to everyone. It was just so. Even they've got other restaurants as well we went to as well, and again, all their stuff was amazing. But this one was, I left just going, wow.
It's personal. It's a very personalized experience, and even if the food takes half an hour, 45 minutes. You're just more forgiving.
Yeah.
Because of the whole
way.
Yeah,
I didn't mind him coming to us later to take the order, because the whole story of it, anyway, but you're right. I think that if you can build that, it's amazing. Where I live, there's a little local Italian called Paolo's Italian. He's so lovely. And he had a really terrible till system. And I said to him, look, you can get something better. You need order pads and something you need better. And he was like, I haven't got any money. I don't know. It's hard. So I said to him, I think there's a deal on at the moment. And introduced him to Toast. This isn't a plug for Toast, obviously, but he had nothing. He needed something better, and I was like, let me find something for you. Anyway, he now has the order pads, everything else, and he's just started TikTok.
So he does this little,
that's
which is great, and it's just him. It's like I'm making a panna cotta, and he goes panna cotta done like that, and it might get like 30 views, but it's great. It's content. So, but anyway, I think I'm digressing, but yeah, I think you're right. The personal touch is really nice, and I think it is a bit lost in London.
Yeah, in London,
Not honest,
the London, no, but the London landscape is brutal. It has changed a lot in the last few years, especially the high street brands. They're all slowly dying, and then there's a new wave that is taking over. But just to close on that, local owner, they are literally their own loyalty scheme. They don't need loyalty. They don't need the stamp card.
Yeah.
They recognize you. They know your family. They know where you're having. They know what you're trained.
Yeah.
They're going to take care of you regardless.
It's back in the day of what the maitre d' was, right? Back in the day when you had the very highly paid guy at the door who'd be like, "Oh, Tommy, welcome back. This is your table. Your glass of champagne's waiting for you." So
it makes you feel special.
Yeah. I think technology can definitely help with that, though. Yeah. So I think that's a really other interesting piece that can help with all the segmentation and all the tools that are able, the little chip printers you can do now when a reservation comes in, with all the little notes and everything else. So I'm hoping for the next couple of years we'll see all the technology and the res platforms and everything give that option back. So even if the waitress turns up, so you turn up and the waitress knows that you're coming in, they know that you're coming, they know it's your table, they welcome you straight away, and then the waiter pops up on their system that we've had before. And that just helps that experience. So I'm hoping the technology's getting there. I don't think some of it's there. Anyway, I digress. Best hospitality tech.
It's a hard one. Did anyone ever mention one single vendor on that
There
podcast?
have some people that have mentioned one single vendor, but you can mention a few, or you can mention a type of tech. Because Christian from Tenzo was on here, and he was like, I can't really mention one of my favourite. It's a bit difficult, really.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like either you can do a type, or you can do a few, or
I'll go with a few. I think,
or even if you've been away and you've felt that's pretty cool.
Cool. I think I have to mention some of the key partners we're working with, because they've been around for a while now, working closely with us for a while. So, shout out to the Deputy Workforce Management, Tenzo, and Vitamojo Epos.
Yeah.
Because we had a very good relationship with them, and they are evolving alongside us and supporting us along with the growth. But there's a few very cool platforms that I've met recently that are doing a great job. Still in the pre-seed or very, very early days, but you can see they're trying to disrupt a little bit the industry. Yuda is doing a great job trying to support the HR teams and the workers with the right systems blend when it comes to training, trying to bring an AI-assisted training and training to Gen Z. And more recently, I met Jonathan from All Gravy, because I'm looking to replace Workplace by Meta, which was shutting down in a year. So I've been doing a lot of work with
interesting
engagement platforms.
Yeah, and he's ex-operator, right? Or is he not? I don't remember. I
can't remember.
Okay,
we had a few beers when we were talking about this.
Nice. Okay, perfect. You touched on some really nice suppliers, to be fair. So, and they're all working together, which is nice. So, I think the thing for you as well is that I guess having Tenzo allows you to pull everything from what you had before. So there's no missing gap. So the Tenzo, I think, has been mentioned every single time. So that's why
they kind of one in a kind.
Yeah.
They don't really have a direct competition, isn't it?
No, I mean there are. There are some, but I think you're right. I think there were ex-operators. He was an ex-operator. He built something.
The hummus guy.
Yeah, the hummus guy. It's brain food. I had it for I was so upset when they closed, because that was my lunch. I literally ordered. I would go and get it for lunch in Wardle Street. Kills me that he closed. But it's a really clever tool. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go back in time. We're gonna hear the story. Where to start? Like I obviously from what Costa to here. Like how did the whole journey? Where did hospitality was like? I'm gonna go work in hospitality. Give us a background. This was the easy piece.
There was no real plan. My plan was always to leave France at some point, where I'm from.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed the accent, I've ended up in retail fairly early. From the age of 16, my dad had video rental shops, a little bit like blockbusters. Yeah. So at the time was VHS.
Yeah.
And then it became DVD, and then became Blu-ray. But this is where.
And
I
then
used
they
to work.
died.
Yeah, and then Netflix arrived and just made everything much easier. But this is where I used to spend my weekends and my holidays, pretty much, just to get a little bit of money. And then I graduated in Paris. I did my business school, moved to London. I realized that whatever I did in Paris did not count. I studied business administration and communication and marketing. After a month, I'd just given up and finding a job because I needed to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Started working for Costa
And that was
as
it.
a barista.
Yeah.
My local Costa in East Finchley, lovely area in North London,
Yeah.
quiet. And I was lucky enough to step up as a general manager literally 6 weeks after starting. The current GM fell ill.
Hold on. After 6 weeks, you became the general manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
It was a franchisee, so
okay.
dealing directly with the owner.
Okay, fine.
And she saw the potential, and I just stepped up and stayed there for 2 years. I was bored after 1 year. Nothing against Costa. It's just like when you live and work in the same area, you see the same people every single day. It's the same thing. And I just started to get a taste of hospitality, serving customers, and making them happy, managing a business.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you think working in the video store and dealing with customers generally on a daily basis, do you think that, and also obviously in Costa, but do you think that helped a little bit in Costa as when you're
100%.
starting, like
Yeah.
dealing with people? Because I think that's a really interesting. I speak to a lot of people on their journey prior to doing what they do, or even people like my nephew, for example, works for Sky News now, but he's worked in a pub, and and he said it's really helped him. One, deal with like dodgy people, hard people.
We don't get that much dodgy
No,
people
of course,
in
sorry. The
rental.
unhappy customers. Sorry,
We
not
used to have an
dodgy.
area at the back with the curtain when you see
Oh, I
over
don't mean
80
dodgy
videos.
like that, man. Don't lower the tone of my podcast. No, I'm kidding. No, I meant, it's when difficult customers. Do you think that helped with then going into Costa? Going, actually, I've been speaking to people for loads of easy.
I think in my experience, it was more being in charge of my dad's business.
Yeah.
And not making sure it's profitable, making sure I sell as much as possible because I know it's helping my dad.
Yeah.
And just taking care of it, having pride in what he's built and trying to keep it up. That was more really what got me into it. And then just bringing that pride and hunger for doing better and better and better to Costa and the next businesses I've been working in.
So you were in Costa for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then what happened after Costa?
I moved to Itsu. So I moved to Itsu as a restaurant manager or a shift manager.
Was that pre? Was it? I mean, I'm showing my age now because my first date with my wife was at Itsu, which is now Banana.
Yeah, Soho.
Yeah, the one in Soho.
Near Street.
Yeah, and it was a Travelator.
That's
a
conveyor belt.
Yeah, conveyor belt. Sorry, yeah.
So it was Itsu restaurants.
Yes.
So
I love that.
Oh, they were great. It was a new opening in Notting Hill Gate.
Yeah.
A beast. 2 floors, cocktail bar, 3 conveyor belts.
Yeah.
Own deliveries at the back with your own drivers.
Yeah.
You learned a lot about deliveries. You had to jump on the back a few times with very tight pants. And the retail at the front.
Yeah.
So that was by far one of the best school. And working for Itsu was amazing as well. Great.
So how many sites did they have at that point then? Was it?
I think they had 50 plus at the time. They probably had, I don't know how many they have now. They probably
they've got loads
80,
now.
100.
Yeah.
It's just everywhere
Yeah.
now. Yeah, it's
But that
the
was
new
back
print.
when they had the thingy.
Yeah, they had 4 restaurants.
Yeah.
At the time,
And the rest were all...
including the one in Mere Street where I
Yeah.
trained.
Yeah.
They've opened the one in Notting Hill Gate.
Yeah.
And then I made my way up quickly to GMs after 2 years. I stayed there for 5 years altogether.
Yeah.
And then the company was taking more direction towards retail, which I think now they have fully converted all of their restaurants to actual retail.
Yes.
And this is where the Honest Burgers opportunity kind of came. At the time, I was interviewing for Busaba and Honest, but dealing directly with the founders through the interview process was great. Dorian, co-founder, Phil, co-founder, Tom, co-founder as well. That I was already a customer. I love the product. I love the atmosphere. I had been to all of them. At the time, there were only 3. That was easy. It was Camden, Brixton, and Mere Street. And I just saw that they got it right. They got the product right. They got the ethos right, the culture. There's no compromising. And I just wanted to be part of it. I knew I could contribute. And I remember sitting down with Phil and Dorian and telling them that I love the product, I love what they're doing, but from the moment they start cutting corners, I'm out.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm still here after. So
is that the little thing on the wall in the office? Like
pretty much. I mean, actually, it did become something on the walls. Yeah. We are currently refurbishing some of the restaurants. And, no corners cut or something like that. I think we have that. And it's true. It's so true. If one thing, I think, we made it so much harder for us over the last few years, trying to do more and more and more. And that just brings even more pride. You know, the fact that we became our own butchers and the fact that we haven't stopped doing everything ourselves.
Yeah.
After 13 years now that the brand has been around and 40 plus locations that we've opened, it's mental. It's crazy. I'm still doing your own chips fresh every single day. It's crazy. Five Guys does it, I know, but we do it better.
The rosemary chips are very good.
Right.
So, but okay. So then, what was the route in? So you started
as a GM.
Yeah. Okay.
The conversation was starting as a GM, but with the aim to become a multi-unit ops manager in the longer term. And luckily, again for me, it only took 6 months.
Seriously, you got the luck of the Irish, luck of the French. So that's amazing. But I guess listen, it's not necessarily like it's if you felt that it was. I guess in the meeting you fell in love with the brand,
with Phil,
and being with founders, I guess as well helps. I think if you see the success in the brand, and as you said, when you started, it was all about helping people succeed. So if that's your mentality, then you're going to grow fast anyway. So then it was so 6 months. Then you were.
So I've opened site number 6, which was Oxford Circus.
So you opened site number 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which was a brilliant experience because I was directly dealing with Phil, Tom, and Dorian. The head office was like 5 or 6 people. 3 of them were finance. We had someone looking after ops a little bit, and then they all had multiple hats, obviously.
What did you learn from that opening? Did for the one in Itsu, did you open that one as well, or was that just...
I did, but I was not the GM at the time, so I was just dealing with recruiting the staff.
What was the? I mean, I can imagine the fun times of opening.
Well, actually, going back to Itsu, so Notting Hill Gate was a special project for Julian Melkauf, the founder of Itsu and the founder of Pret. So we had Julian literally every other day into the restaurants, and
that's pretty handy.
Yeah, but he's a visionary, but he's got a very strong personality. So,
so there's lots of strong personality and hospitality.
Yes. But he's obviously doing a lot of things right?
Yeah.
The Melka food and Itsu and Pret and all those brands that he's created. It's just crazy how passionate he is.
Yeah.
And he's passionate in everything he does, whether it's good or bad.
I think if you keep the passion there, it doesn't matter how good or bad it is.
100%. Yeah.
It will always work.
And working directly with Phil, who's a bit more of the creative side, and Tom was a bit more down to earth and a bit more of a planner and, put things together. That was super interesting because Phil was also first time being, founder of a company and running a company that has 5 or 6 restaurants, and I don't remember how many employees we had at the time. But you make mistakes, you make wrong decisions. But out of a lot of wrong decisions, you're gonna make one that's just gonna stick. And the key with Phil was always the culture. Like he knew what he wanted. We talked about this owner of a restaurant.
Yes,
that this is Phil all over.
Like the vision, basically.
This is where he wanted every single person to come to Honest Burgers and feel that it's, first of all, a one-off, not part of a chain. It's an independent restaurant, and he wanted the GMs to act like they own their own location.
And I like that. I will say, in my experience, I felt that way. It doesn't feel like a group, which is weird because it is, but it doesn't feel like it. And that's a testament to you. And I will say, you've probably seen in some of the messages that you're getting lots of favourite burger places.
I haven't seen that
in the pod. So I agree. I think as you said before, and we talked about it's all about the experience. I mean, if you give that push to the GMs to make it theirs, I think that's always going to work.
Yeah, and consistency in the food as well, which is crazy hard when, first of all, when you cook burgers, we used to do rare back in the days.
Yeah.
But then EHO, they were not too happy, so we went to medium rare.
Yeah.
But no, just the fact that
that used to kill me. I'm so sorry I have to interrupt that. It absolutely. I'd go to a restaurant and they would say they wouldn't even do medium rare back then.
No, it has to be cooked to 75 plus.
Yeah, I would look at it and I'm like, but then I'd go to Bleecker and off the truck, whatever, and it would be like, I'm like, it's pink and juicy. And then they'd come and I'd have an argument with the manager. I don't want it well done. I just want it. Can you just? No, we can't. And now obviously it's better now, right? It's so much better. But back then it was like I don't know how many years it was like that. I think it was the worst burger. It was like the burger. Yeah.
And that's still nowadays. You can't get. I mean, it's really hard to be accredited to sell what is to EHO standard undercooked meat.
Yeah.
But we have a very thorough process and a lot of tests in labs that back that up to allow us to actually keep serving medium rare beef burgers to our customers. And I think that's what makes us special. Not many businesses can actually do it.
Because the rest are just broiled.
Yeah, and then you travel to Spain or to France, they don't care. They will just give you a mooing burger.
But it tastes good. So
it does taste good.
It could be raw, but it tastes good. Yeah. But okay, so the opening was challenging, or what did you learn on the opening of the? I'm just curious because there must have been something. What did you learn? Like, you must have been like a bit of a learning curve.
Oh yeah, 100%. Not just for me. So I did say earlier, so because it was only mostly the founders that were running the business, they all had multiple hats. So Tom Barton. Tom was in charge of the food development, in charge of marketing, and in charge of property to some extent as well. Yeah. So he was very new to marketing, and he told that story many times. So yeah, I'm cool to tell the story. But he put up an offer on Twitter back then, where people had a few days to subscribe to our newsletter, and they would get basically a free burger. And we had a lot of subscriptions in a very short period of time, and I think we doubled up or something the amount of people that were subscribed to our newsletter. And then he sent out the voucher, but that voucher had no TLCs. So one voucher that was sent to one person ended up, being forwarded to like 20 or 30 people in the office. And I can't remember how many vouchers we originally sent, maybe 12,000 or 6,000. Doesn't really matter. It was specifically just for Marketplace or Oxford Circus, that specific location. It just basically tripled or quadrupled in terms of thought, because people were just forwarding to each other and printing it and bringing it to the restaurant. So it got out of hands. And we ended up, my team was not happy because, we make tips. We didn't know how to charge back in the day. So it was a lot of people eating for free and not tipping. And
having the burger and go. And
so you rent like crazy, you make no money, and everyone is now actually also earning tips. So we tried to get a little bit of hand of it and put some kind of rules in place where it said, well, you have to be subscribed to the newsletter in order to redeem your burger.
Yeah.
He came one day with this massive binder with all the newsletter emails of people, and we had to, every time we had a customer with a voucher, it's like, oh, what's your email address? And we had to
flip through that. Wow, GDPR is amazing, wasn't it? Wow. Hold on, let me find you.
Never heard of GDPR like in the days.
Wow.
So I've asked for the digital Excel files, and I put it into an app very quickly, and and I share the app with all the staff. So it was much easier just to simply enter the email address into that app. But it's one of those things that just got out of hand, and
I love that.
Yeah, we know about TLCs, how important they are.
100%. Well, to be fair, I mean, you look at like the magic stamps and stuff of this world, where people just stand there and they scan it, or they'll just tap it and they'll tap it and they'll tap it and they'll walk away. So some things like that
are always going to be people who are going to try to take advantage of the system.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing nowadays is obviously like when Uber first started, I think we had Chilango as a client, and they were one of the first people on Uber and Deliveroo, and we were helping with tech and getting it, making sure the tablets were working. So Uber gave our team 20 quid each. But obviously when it first started, it just died because the drivers didn't turn up. So the guys were really excited but we ended up reusing the same vouchers over and over again because it basically failed. Like every time they were like, I've ordered lunch. Has it come yet? No, it's been an hour. And that was in the beginning. Yeah, the same voucher. But that's a very interesting learning curve from there. Okay, so then let's tee off. So opening, and then where did you move to after that?
So 6 months after opening site number 6, Oxford Circus. We got to 10 locations, which I think was Liverpool Street, our 10th location. And that's kind of the point where Phil started to struggle being alone in charge of the ops. And this is where I stepped up as the first ever ops manager, or area manager for Honest Burgers. And I've done that for almost 7 years.
Wow.
And Phil and I were very interesting yin and yang. Like I'm very calm, I'm process driven. I have a very analytic mind, and I'm very organized. Phil is the opposite side of the spectrum.
Bing, 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 right?
Yeah, I mean, usually we get on very well. You know, it's
I can imagine.
He's got 25 ideas a minute. He's very creative.
Love that.
He's and that worked.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm using his word. He used me a few times, like explaining how the balance was great. You know, having me
I
as
want
the
to do
first area
this,
manager.
all of this, and then you're like, hold on, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. And that's what you want, really, rather than running around trying to do it. Had you to I guess grounding, really.
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, it used to be Tom's job, because Tom is a bit more similar to me. But obviously, ops was his job and mine. So this is where the focus was. And then we just kept opening restaurants pretty much. Like 5
So did you then go, right, okay, this is the template I want? Did you build? Did you sit down and go? Because obviously it went scale, right? It's not like it's a couple of here. Did you sit down and go, right, this is the template of how this has worked? Like, how did you think about, for ops wise?
We were still figuring out. that was changing every quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? It was a lot of trial and error. In getting that. But the ultimate goal was always giving the responsibility and freedom to our managers dealing or managing their business like if it was their own.
Nice.
So giving them the freedom to make the right decision, giving them the freedom to do their own local marketing, their own local deals.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Because I know
local burgers.
Yeah.
That was great. Burgers and local beers.
That was really good.
That was driven by the GM. So GM or their head chef together, they will come up with their own burger. That. We'll help them to cost it and things like that, find the right suppliers, set up the suppliers, and then you will make it to the menu. And now every single Honest Burgers has a local burger that uses local ingredients as much as possible, and the local beer as well that is in the area where possible.
It's so important. It's basically, but it makes it community led. Like we work with a couple of clients that are outside London, and they're all community led because they're locals. They're not. They might be a chain, but
it
they're
makes
still
great
locals.
stories as well.
Yeah.
No, I remember when we opened Cambridge. When I opened Cambridge, that was my first one out of London as well. Which it was the first site ever we go into the regions, and when we did the local burger, we used the chutney from a lady that lived locally, and she just could not keep up with the demand.
Oh, bless.
She was generally struggling to make the chutney, and to make enough chutney. I think it was a cheese shop that she had. But he made great stories. Milkshakes, we're using the guy down the road as well, so you can pinpoint where it comes from.
Origin and source, basically.
And it also gives a bit of advertisement place for the local heroes. I think it's very important as well.
I didn't know you did that. That's really interesting. I wish I knew more about that. I don't think they shout
local
out
beers,
about,
but now we've been very bad about telling everyone all the good stuff we're doing. We're getting better. I think we learn from it.
Definitely, but I didn't know any of this. Like, I knew the other local burger. I knew that. But this is like awesome to understand and help the local community as well. I think that's amazing.
Supporting local communities and the local heroes, absolutely. Give them the platform to do more.
Yeah.
Same when it comes to breweries. We used a lot of local breweries. Brixton Brewery, I think, was the first ever brewery we did on Honest Beer.
Yeah.
And then we went to Beavertown, and then we went to other breweries, but just giving a bit of exposure to those brands.
And it also makes it, not everyone's the same. So you won't get the same Honest Burgers. If you want a local here, each one, as you said, that's really nice.
We do a lot of amazing collabs.
Yeah, I wish.
We're not stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, but I wish there was more shouting to the rooftops about it.
We're getting better.
It's coming.
We're getting better.
You're focusing on expanding, but I think that is really important. More people know about it. I guess when they go there, they know about it because you're talking about it. But the world, who when they look at it outside, it's there's an Honest Burger, great. I also quite like some of the ones. Where was I the other day? God, I don't remember now. But it was on the. I think it was on the near an underpass. Oh, where was I?
Hammersmith.
Yes, and it's literally burgers. I think you've got honest and burgers, like, and you can't miss it from like a mile away.
We got in trouble for that one a few times. Because I think the council is just on the other side of the overpass.
Oh, are they?
So you can't. Yeah. So I think at the beginning we could not get the authorization, and we just went for it.
Yeah.
We had,
it looks awesome.
I think we had to pay it back or something.
Yeah.
But that one got us in trouble a few
That was
times. Or
awesome.
it took a long time to get approval at least.
Okay, so now, so when did your role recently change? Because 7 years is a long time.
During COVID.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So as we went into COVID, starting to shut all the restaurants,
Yeah.
or just doing takeaway, or just doing delivery. And obviously, we had to follow a lot of people and restructure the head office a little bit. And I was offered a position going into projects and to start looking at the things like the tills, and what became later Tip Jar, what became later Workplace, and things like that. And that was the perfect timing, because that's where we found out that we were expecting our son. So I was like, yeah, after, I think at the time it was probably 15 or 14 years in operations. Operation is brutal. It's 7 days a week. It's from 9 a.m. from the moment you have someone on site, basically, until the last person leaves midnight. It's non-stop.
Yeah.
I lost so many girlfriends working in operations, and even my wife was that close.
Yeah.
Because, so I was like, yeah, I'll take the break.
Nice.
And I was always.
I guess also you've stepped through all the hoops of how it's all started, and you've been there for such a long time. So I think a natural progression of that is natural as such.
Yeah, I think taking the break was a bit of a stretch. It's still a very busy.
I'm sure.
Function, but I think having.
Well, to be fair, have you now completed that transition, the big one?
I have, yes.
So that's a lot. That's a lot. Just on that alone, but we'll come to that in just a second. So COVID happened, deliveries, like takeaways and stuff, right? And then obviously reopening. Did the business restructure slightly on 100%. Because I think everyone's had a learning curve from what happened and realized, actually, hold on, we should now do this. Was there like a big change, like a big curve?
Well, that was a mix of Brexit and
of course,
obviously COVID. So in terms of the landscape, it was literally upside down.
Yeah.
So the high street, busy, touristy places became quiet.
Yeah.
And the local ones, tiny, local, they just became busy.
Yeah.
It was literally, if you take everything and you put it upside down. So the blockbusters moved across London, and we had to focus a lot more on digitalizing our menu and ordering process. So this is where we first met Vita Mojo.
Yes.
This is where I brought Vita Mojo into the business about 4 years ago now. They were our first click and collect platform. And we like the fact that we could customize everything, make it look and feel like it's part of the honest. And they developed features for us. Busy mode is something they didn't have. We asked them to do.
Sweet.
Because we didn't want to switch off when we were busy. We wanted just to reduce the amount of orders that come through.
Because originally, I've worked with Vita from the beginning when they were restaurants. So, obviously, traditionally QSR. I was with them speaking to the founders when printers weren't working, and so on. So I've known the product I've seen it change. It's a beast it's a monster, what it is now. But it's nice that, and also produced like years ago, it was just QSR, right? So everything's changed. Then POS 2 now, and lots of new things have changed. It's a lot slicker than it was. But it's really interesting to hear on the casual dining side on the features they're building. So what's the busy mode? Is that for the click and collect?
Yeah, it was for click and collect. It was to reduce capacity. Basically, we're trying to prevent our staff switching off click and collect altogether, because when they switch it off, they just forget to put it back on. And
you need that alarm.
Well, it's just not a great experience for the customer either. Trying to order something and not being able to order at all. As of, if you are being told, instead of 15 minutes, your order is going to be ready in 30 or 45, it manages expectations, but you're still able to order.
But that thing is like the Nando's method, where you pay and you sit. Like with Nando's, if you go pay, you sit down, and if it's an hour later,
you never know.
Tough luck, but you're still chatting away and talking, because you know what, in mentality, you've paid for it. So even if you have turned it on and it's an hour, it's 30 minutes instead of 15, you're right. It's set their expectations, and they've been able to get what they want. So
absolutely. So the fact that they were receptive to feedback and how to improve their platform was great, and that gave them also a little bit of an advantage when it came to reviewing our POS system.
Yeah.
Which,
So did you start with you started with? Oh, so I don't know why I'm saying this. So, we had Chilango as a client, so the first Vita kiosk was Chilango in London Wall. So I was thinking, and with Integra, hi John, I'm speaking to him in a bit, so you had that integration already in, and because they were already working together, so that was nice and seamless. And then there was a transition to move full POS suite into just Vita. How was that?
Oh, well, yeah. So we had to move away, unfortunately, from Santegra. Santegra was at the time, they've changed now, but they were using NCR Silver,
Yes.
which is a platform that is no longer being updated. And they had not a replacement just yet, but they were looking for something else.
Yes.
By the way, shout out to Santegra, because by far the best customer service and support in the industry.
Yeah. Their team's amazing.
Shout out to John. Yeah. They would not give up until something is fixed. This is great. It's so important.
And they answered the phone.
They have a phone. They have a phone you can call. This is also something unusual.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now I went on the market. I looked at 12 different vendors.
Wow. Okay.
For POS. I mean, we're talking 40 plus locations.
Yeah.
And plans for growth. And then things that we wanted the new POS to enable.
Yeah.
And then I befriended one of the sales manager there, Sina, and he went to me one day and was like, "Oh, we got a POS." I was like, "Yeah, I've seen your POS is shit." I literally laughed at his face, and I was like, "No,
This is POS 2.
We got POS 2. It's like it's different." And
I was hopping on at them at the show, and then I think Harry was like, "Come have a look at this," and then they had it there, and I was like, "What's that?" And that was it was nice.
That was definitely a huge leap from the original one that they had. That was very, very, very basic.
Yeah,
and
because the QSLs didn't really need it. To be fair, that's mostly why in the beginning there was no need for it, because it was all tracked, it was all done. The kitchen displays and was all done it. But you're right, there was a need.
And that became an opportunity for us to do an early partnership with them, and genuinely build the POS alongside them. So
Wow.
we have calls with Vita Mojo literally on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, and we generally have an input on how the POS and the direction is going.
That's amazing. That's a good note on the CV too, to be fair.
So Honest Burgers right now are the only locations that are running the actual new POS with the table plan and things like that.
Really?
And
awesome.
The team has been great.
Yeah.
These updates have been pushed on every 2 weeks, and they pretty much tick every single boxes that we've asked for.
Amazing.
But that's a journey I started in February last year.
Yeah.
We're now in August, so it's almost a year and a half in the making. And
when was it all rolled out? I mean, also you benefited.
Still running out.
You're still running out. But the benefit you have is, again, you had
the
iPads.
thing with this product that you're developing is you get a few locations in, they become your guinea pigs, unfortunately. Yes. And thank you for the 3 locations that have been super patient with us. But by trial and error and getting there, you now have a platform that is ready to be rolled out, enables so much more for us.
So how many sites is it in at the moment?
So I have 3 sites that are on pilots, and I'm rolling out to 37 more locations in August. So it's 1 to 2 locations per day for a 4 weeks period.
Nice.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. It's been a long time in the making.
But I think also, I think another benefit you do have is that you have iPads.
We do.
So if you imagine if you had the traditional Windows tills and you were changing, what that would be like as well.
What would you use Windows anyway?
Don't be horrible to the Windows POS providers. There's lots out there, and there's Linux ones out there as well. They're pretty good till systems. But I'm with you. Oh, funnily enough, one of the guys from the US who does installs for POS over there is coming over here. His name's Dan Diaz, great guy. He was like, "You guys are so backwards." I was like, "Dude, you don't even do chip and pin. You can't even do contactless. You only do chip and pin. You can't even do contactless. The only people that does contactless is Starbucks and McDonald's." I literally had a little rant to him. He goes, No, I meant your POS. You got loads of Windows POS. We don't do Windows POS. It's like Android or it's iPad, and that's it. And it's pretty right.
You get a lot of flexibility in terms of the hardware, and you can pick and mix, and that's also one of the reasons we went with Vita. Is you can choose your hardware. You don't have to be using a specific type of tablet. You don't have to go through them to buy it. So it is
and also means you can have a spare one. I mean, even you had Silver, even with Silver, having a spare iPad under a desk in an office is like replacing a till is a challenge. but swapping out an iPad isn't too much of an issue.
You can swap an iPad for an Android tablet if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of choice in sizes, and you can manage them all centrally through an MDM.
So talk about me. We can talk about you. Talk about me. Sorry, no, talk about me.
It's your podcast.
What's the adoption been like with the GMs of those 3 sites?
It's been interesting. So some of those sites were in the early days. So like any product that you develop,
of course,
things go wrong, and this is how you learn. This is how you fix them.
Yes.
But the product itself, and it's also one of the reasons why I went with Vita, is that you can set it up in such a simple way that is almost no training needed. You can give it to a staff member, and they know where they need to go naturally. So the less training you need, the more successful the rollout will be.
Because back in the day, you would go to a restaurant, and if you were a GM, you'd be like, okay, new site, we're going to go with the POS that I know. Or you go in and they've got an old POS, and you'd be like, oh, this is a nightmare. Because we hear it all the time, right? They go in and they might have had, I don't know, Zonal once, or they've used other before, or whatever it might be, and then they get moved to the Vita or Lightspeed or whatever, and they look at it and they're like, I can't do this because it's so different. So the adoption is difficult. But I guess if you're making it easy, that's the key piece.
And also they get to contribute to the way the product is evolving.
Yeah.
So I think the first time we rolled it out into location was back in April. It's been almost 4 months now. And based on their feedback, the product has evolved into a direction that makes sense to us.
Yeah.
And in many times what makes sense for Honest Burgers will make sense for other, casual dining brands. So everyone is a winner. We get something that's almost bespoke to us. And anyone else who's going to go and use the POS will benefit from our feedback. And they will probably come with their own stuff.
Did the founders be like, let's set up Honest POS? Were they like, was there a little of one of the founders would be like, let's do our own, or no?
No.
Was that because you were
What would you want?
You were like, no. You were like, no. Well, listen, we were with Sessions. They have Shelter Hall. They bought POS.
Fair enough. But now, POS is that thing that no one really cares about.
Yeah.
It just needs to
do its thing,
do the job, and do it simple and be fast and be reliable. That's all.
I guess it's the integrations as well. Okay, we're coming towards the end. We have talked about other stuff. I know there's operational stuff, but I'm in Paris technology. But I think we've talked quite a bit about what is stuff. I think the future is an interesting one. Oh, you're skipping. Yeah, sorry. I've given you all these questions. It was a guideline. Remember, it was a guideline. But I think probably I'd love to talk about the future. What do you think the future of like the hospitality tech in your eyes? And a little bit of AI bits and bobs, like what you think you might or would like to be seen in the industry.
Well, I think it's generally AI is the future.
Yeah.
It just applies to so many platforms in so many different industries. Right now, I'm replacing workplace, for example. AI is a big part of what I want.
Yeah.
When it comes to serving our people and to bringing information faster to our staff. AI assistant that gets small queries and search straight away, or small actions done very fast without the need of bothering someone from central support, so they can focus on bigger actions.
On that note, actually, I had in ages ago Amir, who works for Chotomate, and he's developing stuff, and he's literally taken the whole HR manual and shoved it into a bot for them to test. And now all the staff he's testing, obviously, but it's not rolled out, but he's built it. And he said to the HR team, how's it been? And they're like, oh my God.
No one's asking questions.
No,
right?
no one's asking questions.
I genuinely believe 97% of the questions can be answered by an AI bot. And this is why I mentioned Yuda at the beginning. This is what they're trying to do, is they're trying to relieve the pressure on the HR teams by giving the information to the staff faster. You don't have to wait for someone to be available. You don't have to wait for someone to reply to your email or anything like that. But that applies in all kind of directions. So if you go to operations, you can have AI applied to your forecast. So you have a much more accurate forecast, a daily, hourly forecast, a 15 minutes increment forecast. And you know exactly when to deploy your people at the right time. So you have enough people when it's busy, but you have less when it's quiet. So it doesn't impact your sales, or you don't limit your sales. Then obviously impact your ordering as well. AI ordering, making sure.
Have you seen Peckish?
Oh, the stock take. Stock take. I've seen it. I haven't used it.
Oh my God, it looks ridiculous. I mean,
it's just exactly how those things make
computer vision using a bit of AI. That's crazy.
Well, that's a great example where AI actually solves a problem that no one actually wants to do.
It was the same as
Stock
Blender,
count.
as you mentioned, the same as
Who
Blender
wants
as
to do
well.
stock count? Everyone
Yeah.
hates stock count.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's done first thing in the morning on a Monday
Yes.
or last thing on a Sunday when you're tired, when you have your restaurant to close.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time,
Yeah.
ultimately, but it just has to be done. Yeah, if you can just use,
Camera.
AI vision to do it, that makes
Yeah.
complete sense.
And I guess the same with Blend as well, really. You know, if you can help train your staff and in a better way and an easier way and in their own time, it helps retention.
So AI, everything.
Yeah, I
ultimately.
think, to be fair, I think it's. I hate the word problem. I'm not a problem person, but that word is very much. I think if you can find something to resolve, or if you can find that problem, because Jonah was very much like there are problems. There are loads of problems. If we can fix the problem, then the problem won't exist in the first place. So I think the opportunity of what's out there now is crazy.
We're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
On top of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when it comes to loyalty, having artificial intelligence best booking the loyalty to your specific needs and to your specific history of behaviors and things like that.
Yeah,
it almost feels like someone
I think
watching
there's a challenge though, because
shoulder.
There's a couple of tools in there's a tool in the US that I had a podcast with called Incentivio, and there is really clever stuff with machine learning to know when using machine learning to know when the churn rate or the customer just before the customers gets burn or churn or burn, whatever it is called. They use their technology to don't email every time. Don't set and forget, which a lot of platforms do. You set and you forget. So it's those automation rules of if they don't turn up after 3 weeks, send this. If they don't turn up, blah 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 blah. But using machine learning to hold on, the average visit frequency for everyone is this, and then we know that the average people of non-visit is this. Well, let's not reward everyone on their journey. Let's give them surprise and delights and stuff. But let's use the machine learning to tee them back in before we lose them, which I think is really important. I think that, and then that builds a community, sort of starting to build a little bit of a community. So I think, yeah, I know you're looking at loyalty, which is interesting, and I think it's hard. It's a hot topic right now. Everyone's talking about it, right? Everyone is talking about loyalty. It's a big thing, and you guys have Vita with Adyen, so you have the card data. Even though it's anonymous, you still know who that person is and when they're coming back. So I think once we can find a way of linking that card data to that person, it's endless. I think that's going to be a big thing.
There's a lot of platforms out there that are trying to do that already.
Well, Square Mill have used Fidel, so they're using that, so you can add your card, and then wherever you go and pay, you can do it.
You click your points.
Yeah, you click your points. You don't have to sign in. I think touchless loyalty is what we talked about a little while ago. So I went to the IV in St Albans. St Albans isn't far from not far from where I live. There's a catering college right by it, so you get the best staff from there. I mean, it's freaking awesome, and the service is amazing at that specific IV. But I booked online. I connected to their Wi-Fi, and I have the app. Should I have to scan the QR code? Realistically, nowadays I shouldn't, because I've done those three things. So I've booked online. They've checked me in. I've integrated into Till system, so then I'm assuming. So they know my name's on there, and I connect to the Wi-Fi. Those three pieces, I shouldn't need to scan the QR at the end, right? And the challenge you guys have is you don't read your reservations unless it's a group, right?
No.
So that's the other challenge. Let's get that mic up there. There we go. So I think it's hard, right? Getting that right thing in place. But I think once you do it, and same with QSRs, it's hard, right? You've got lots of kiosks. So unless you get someone to scan it. So I think the card data thing is definitely more people are looking at doing it and building into it. I think that will be a big thing.
I think the only limitation with the card is the redemption. So because you identify yourself at the moment you're paying, you've already made your choices and things like that. So how do you redeem the offer listed to you?
So I will show you a video later, but there is actually with Adyen a plugin where if you have the wallet, the Apple Wallet, and you make payment, it can query the wallet. So it looks if you've got a wallet for that brand, and they say you've got £10 credit or you've got a discount.
It'll give you a prompt before you actually finalize your
It will
payment.
automatically remove it from the bill.
Got it.
So that's Adyen's like crazy powerful as it is, but not everyone can do that because different systems use Adyen in different ways, right? There's most of the POS providers use Adyen, but that is there, but no one's built it yet. I've seen a video with Starbucks and stuff on it, but it's very clever with what can be done. So I think that could, if the customer's got the wallet and and then they scan it, and on the credit card machine, it can redeem it. It's blowing my mind. You don't even need to worry about signing or scanning or anything on the till.
It's always the most annoying part of any loyalty program is how do you authentify yourself?
Yeah. And sign up. Okay, we're at the end, so I thank you so much. That you put out 2 or 3 questions that I asked that I haven't asked. I apologise. But let's have a look at the last 3 questions, which is best restaurant, which you sort of said earlier. But is there another restaurant that's one of the best restaurants?
Did I say what was the
best hospitality experience?
Yeah.
What's? Give me a restaurant that was like the best restaurant you've been to.
I will give you 2 because one is one that I would not pay with my own money, and the other one is the one I would. So I'm a big fan of sushi, and I was fortunate enough to travel to Japan as well. So the closest I could taste Japan, but I have been to all places in the UK. But I really like Zuma.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to pay for the bill, it's a great place,
Zuma.
great atmosphere, and the sushi is fantastic. And, they keep a lot of traditions. It's beautiful. But if you don't have the wallet to afford Zuma, I strongly recommend anyone to go and visit Duck and Waffle.
I went there 2 weeks ago. It's good.
No fuss, amazing view. The food is actually fairly affordable as long as you don't go crazy on the drinks. And it's pretty relaxed.
Can I give you one to look at? Because
Yes, please.
Zuma is expensive, but if you want to go to a Zuma restaurant that doesn't have the same price point.
Roka?
No, Roka's amazing too. Don't get me wrong. Listen, we work with Zuma. I love the group. The guys are amazing there. We've helped them with Cannes, and I mean, I didn't realize how many restaurants they actually had. They got loads, but they own Incognito, which is just off Carnaby Street.
Oh, I need to check those out.
And,
or go to Japan. Everything tastes like Zuma, but for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, or go to Japan, or fly to Japan. But Incognito, awesome, really cool place. It's by the same group. Pricing isn't through the roof, and it's really good. Anyway, that's for you.
I'll take notes. Thank you.
Best burger. Oh,
Wow. I genuinely think on this burger is the best burger, but I think it wouldn't be fair for me to use our brand. So I think the second after us, in my opinion, is Bleecker.
yeah.
I do think Bleeker's beef is up there and one of the best beef you can get in a burger. It's still aged. They haven't gone crazy in pushing their menu in all directions. It's still a very simple menu.
Yeah.
No fuss, and they still deliver a great burger.
Yeah.
They used to do Bleecker Black.
Yes.
Oh my god, that thing! They used to do festivals and things like that. And I think would come out with it's two patties, American cheese, black pudding in
Yes.
the middle, and I think would come out literally mooing still. And you bite in it, and your whole mouth is just filling up with grease and taste. And that was just an orgasm in your hands.
They
Love
did.
it.
They, when National Burger Day was around, because you would remember National Burger Day because you've been at Honest for a while.
We need to bring that thing back.
I think we need to campaign to bring it back because it was Mr. Hyde.
Street Feast. We used to do competitions.
Right,
that was so good.
It was awesome, and I remember the Honest Vans that was there as well. But Bleecker did their little patty melt once, which was basically just a burger in toast.
Yes.
Oh
I
my
remember
god,
that
it was
one.
so good. So, but yes, you're right. We should definitely. You have the power of Honest to try and bring it back.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it back.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree. Haizan and Liam, they're amazing. And their burger, the commitment to the burger, which is the term,
Commitment to the burger.
which is very much you guys too. Okay, best hotel.
I can't remember the name, but it was on Kopipi Island, and it was a very simple hotel actually, but it was like tree houses, or tree flats to some extent, very high on the
Like
trees.
stilts and stuff.
Well, not all made of wood.
Yeah.
And you had total privacy.
Yeah.
Beautiful view, and it was just amazing. It was literally like sleeping in the forest with no one around.
Yeah.
And it was simple, but beautiful in terms of an experience.
Yeah. I love Thailand.
Just alone in the world, and beautiful view on the beach. Loved it.
Okay. We're at the end, so I will give you a little round of applause. There you go. But we have 2 questions for the next guest. And the next guest could be anyone from operations, hospitality, marketing, operator. We've got some operators coming on, like you, which is exciting. So, because previously we've had just tech people. So, you're the first operator on. So, I'm going to give you another congratulations in there too. But, woo! And we didn't do our music at the beginning, but I'll skip it because we're near the end. But tell me 2 questions for the next guest.
So I didn't realize they were not all in tech, so it's quite tech related.
No, it could be anything.
Yeah.
No. I said that, so the either tech,
could be
marketing, anything hospitality. It could be anything.
So I think my first question was a bit related to what I mentioned about Santegra and the amazing support that we got from them.
Yeah.
So my first question was, what tech partner or platform have you used that excelled in support or customer service or after sales service? Because it's usually one of the biggest frustration with tech vendors.
Because the salespeople are like, I'll sell you the earth. The world is yours, right?
And kind of related to that question, because I just mentioned frustrations, but yeah, what frustrates you the most with tech vendors nowadays?
Yeah.
Beside promising everything.
Yeah. I think there's a challenge. It's really interesting actually, because you see the shows and you see traditional POS, Windows POS or traditional POS, with their suits on. And then you see like the newer ones with their like hoodies or t-shirts. And back in the day, only people would go walk up to the people with suits. And now people are avoiding the people with suits because they feel like used car salesmen, and they're going to the ones with looking more cash, looking approachable. And I think it's a really interesting shift change.
I don't care how they look as long as they know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
there's nothing more frustrating than talking to a salesperson that has to take away 20 questions to ask their tech people, product people, or developers. They come back to you.
Have you bamboozled a few? I bet you have bamboozled a few. You've gone up and gone, so we're interested in this, and this is who I am. And then they go a bit white. And then you ask them questions, and they go, yeah, we can, I'll come back to you.
Yeah. And also I got burned a few times.
Yeah.
So now I go way around it. Now I'm like, okay, show me exactly what you mean, but you can't do it. Like, physically share your screen.
Yeah.
To make sure we're on the same page, because I got burned too many times in the past.
I can imagine. I can imagine. It's hard. This industry is hard. Even if someone does recommend something, you've been doing this for a long time, so you've seen it in the past, right? Interesting. All right, so we're at the end. This is Tommy from Honest, or Tommy Tech. We can say. I do like how you put that in your LinkedIn. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was Chris Fletcher keeps teasing me about it. So I thought it was something that
well, it's interesting because William Connors, he's had LinkedIn for a long time. His LinkedIn is / the POS doctor. So, but that's not his name. But because that was back in the day, what's he was doing. Listen to his podcast coming out soon. He went to the Topcon base to roll out POS. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, I'm really excited for that one to come out soon. But thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Wave goodbye to everyone, because some people do watch it. And this is it. So see you guys soon.